Hey, good afternoon everyone. Legend coming at you today from Universal Orlando. We're going to take a full park walkthrough through Islands of Adventure. And starting here at Port of Entry, over there on the left-hand side, that's going to be where you exit the park. Also, where you're going to go and get any rentals like wheelchairs or strollers. This building here is going to be home to the largest gift shop in the park, the Islands of Adventure Trading Company. If you need any guest services or guest relations, it'll be over there. To the right over here is the photography shop and the gift shop as well. You cross under the iconic bridge here in Port of Entry with the Adventure Begins on it. Always a pretty good photo spot, and I do like their Port of Entry, which is kind of like their Main Street area here. I think it's very pretty. The music loop they have is absolutely fantastic. Lots of little touches and nods and things like that. Over here on the right is going to be a candy store, and followed by the candy store will be the Christmas store. So if you need your Christmas stuff in July or September or whenever it's not Christmas time, or when it is Christmas time, you can pick it up in there. Again, lots of little photo ops like that there where you can come and take pictures on. Now this stand here, the Last Chance fruit stand, this is important because this is one of the first places in the park you can buy a beer, and also I believe the only place in Islands of Adventure that sells the giant Foster's can. Where you get that big, I think it's like a 23-ounce Foster's can for around $10 or so. They also got turkey legs and stuff like that. But for me, if I'm coming to the park, it's actually probably the best deal you get at Universal for a beer as well, is that Foster's can. There's an outdoor market there that mostly sells ladies' clothing. And over here to the right is the Croissant Moon Bakery. So if you need that, something to eat in the morning, or you want a cookie later on in the day. Well, I don't think it's open too late. I think it's more of a morning establishment. Then everything kind of opens up over here as we are getting towards the end of Port of Entry. Very important, there is a Starbucks, an official Starbucks over there, if you are a Starbucks person. This booth here, you can pick up the all-day drink plan or make any dining reservations you might want. Right next to that is the Confisco Grill. One of a couple of sit-down full-service restaurants in the park, and I do recommend, if you come to Universal Park, eat at one of the full-service restaurants instead of the quick-service restaurants, as it, I think it gives you a better deal. Now, we've reached our crossroads. If you go left, you pretty much, this is the only part of the park that's not like a big circle. So if you go left, you're going to go towards Marvel Superhero Island. If you go right, you're going to go towards Zeus Landing, and that is the route that I am going to take. Got this gentleman here is holding the menu for the Backwater Bar, which is a full-service bar right here on the right side. And they also have a nice little patio out there as well, so if you want to grab your drink and then sit outside, relax, do some good people watching. Okay, lemon slush stand. Now, if you've never been to Islands of Adventure before, it is essentially kind of, well, a bunch of different islands. So the park's very much divided up into their different lands, each one with a different theme of some type. Except for kind of Port of Entry is kind of a generic theme. You got Lost Continents, kind of generic. But here you enter in one that's not generic at all, and that is Zeus Landing, a land all about the works of Dr. Seuss. Over here is the Green Eggs and Ham Cafe. Not open at the moment, but when it is, they specialize in like gourmet tater tot dishes like green eggs and ham tater tots and buffalo chicken tater tots and a couple other things. There's a Who hash tater tots as well. One of my favorite places in the park to grab a snack. Those topiaries archway over there, that leads you to the If I Ran the Zoo playground, which is a pretty well-themed playground. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, it's still worth a walkthrough. Islands of Adventure is filled with all sorts of wonderful little treats, like McGilligan's Pool over here. And if you have any change, you throw them in the fish's mouths, and well, surprises happen. Also, all the change in there goes to charity. I believe it's Give Kids the World. Over there, you can see the Carousel, which is actually one of my favorite carousels in the entire world, as all the animals are Dr. Seussian creatures. And it's also one of the rides in the park that pretty much never has a line. You have an icy stand over here on the right with a pretty long line. Cats, Hats, and Things is the exit gift shop for the Cat in the Hat Dark Ride, which can be found right here. Now, I enjoyed the Cat in the Hat ride. Not the greatest ride you'll ever see. And normally it has a shorter line. Today, not so much. Right now, I was walking by, it's having a 50-minute wait. That's because there is some inclement weather in the area, so a lot of the outdoor rides are closed. like this one over here, the one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, which is your Dumbo-style spinning ride. You sit in a fish, it goes around in a circle, and you control whether it goes up or down. Now, the idea behind this ride is you're supposed to listen to the rhyme and follow it. That way, you don't get soaked by these fish. Most of the time, you end up getting wet anyway. Alrighty, let's continue on. And one thing you'll find consistently here at Islands of Adventure, there is tons and tons of detail in the theming in all the lands. No matter which one, there's tons of Easter eggs and little things to observe and secrets and stuff like that. You got a sort of a little outdoor theming area showing off all about the Lorax. You do get one of the park's main indoor restaurants over here, the wonderfully named Circus McGurgus Cafe Stupendous, which is a just, you know, your normal counter service quick food restaurant. Nothing too wild in there as far as food wise. You know, cheeseburgers, sandwiches, pizza, pretty much your generic American fare. We continue through Seuss Landing. You can see these tracks above us. That is for the Seuss High in the Sky trolley train ride, which is a simple monorail style ride that goes all around the park. Not all around the park, all around the Seuss Landing area of the park. And I think it's pretty neat. Similar to like the People Mover at Walt Disney World, that kind of idea. Dr. Seuss is all the books you can read. Is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bookstore. Now, one thing I like about the Seuss High in the Sky trolley train ride, there are two different routes you can take. You could be on the green track or the purple track, and then each of the routes, they'll have two different audio tracks. So there's a good chance when you go on that ride, well, it'll be a little different each and every time. Got a big candy store over here to my right. And then over on the left is the Mulberry Street store. This is probably the biggest gift shop in the land, so if you wanted to get something Dr. Seuss related, this would probably be your best bet to find it in here. Some of that wonderful detail and horticulture in this section of the park, really good too, with all the different topiaries. Before leaving Seuss Landing, you do have one final food and beverage location. That is the Moose Goose Juice Goose over there, where you could get goose juice or moose juice. And then we move over the bridge and into the next section of the park. And each island does have a pretty much a different feel. And most of them you do will go over a physical bridge to get to the islands. As you can see here, we're going right over the Islands of Adventure Lagoon. I do always encourage you to, when you're walking over the bridge, come take a look, because there are fish and turtles and stuff in there. As you can see, there is a whole bunch of fish swimming right underneath the bridge. And this big old griffin type guy here with the flame, that welcomes you to the Lost Continent, which is going to be the next section of Islands of Adventure. And I don't know what to feel about this section of the park. It is a beautiful section of the park, but it's also a section of the park really without any attractions at the moment. The Sinbad stage show closed down a couple of years ago, and Poseidon's Fury has been down for about 9 months, so who knows if that will ever return. Now, the highlight of this land for me is right here in this beautiful waterfall-filled space rockwork building. That is Mythos, the park's premier full-service dining establishment, and it's really good. If you're coming to Islands of Adventure, this is absolutely 100% where I recommend you eat. It's a beautiful, beautiful dining room, and the food's really good. Also not overpriced. If you're a pass holder, you do get a discount in there. Now, this stunning building here, well, that's for Poseidon's Fury, which was a indoor walkthrough special effects show, and one of the greatest facades, really, you'll ever see in a theme park. Now, is this ride coming back? Is it not coming back? I have no idea. I hope it does, but you know, you never know. Here's some more of that. This is where you would enter Mythos. Now, Universal's not like Walt Disney World where you'll need to make reservations for restaurants, you know, 6 months out and stuff like that. But you should probably make a reservation the day of. You can do it all, I believe you can do it online. Moving along here, we have a gift shop, the Treasures of Poseidon. You can see Poseidon up there. I believe this is a lot of like jewelry and generic Universal stuff. More outdoor vending. Here, this is just kind of, you know, your average popcorn and sodas, canned beer, that kind of thing. Now, this entrance over here to the left, this would take you to the bypass bridge. If you want to bypass the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and go right to the Jurassic World velocicoaster, that is the bridge that you would go on.
Well, I don't see your mom on the
Fire Eater Grill is very crowded. That is going to be like chicken fingers and sauced up chicken fingers. Also, since they don't have any rides or anything going on, they have some wild entertainment like King Julian and his friends, not like the penguins or anything, just 3 random ladies. That does cause quite the bottleneck. I'll try to work my way through that without walking into anybody.
Where am I supposed to go?
Get it out of the middle of the road.
And, oh my. Moving along here, you get to the kind of the marketplace section of the Lost Continent, which if you're into like Renaissance fair kind of stuff, you might find something you want to buy over here. You do also find these all over the park with their wait times on it. You'd also view the wait times on the app as well. You got a lot of stuff with dragons and medieval stuff over there. You got a place where you can buy kebabs. Man, that sounds always, kebabs are good. Always go for kebab. But yeah, Lost Continent, not a whole lot going on because the 2 attractions that were opening day attractions of Island Adventure, they both closed down and they never really added anything else to this section. Back there, you can see the fountain. Now, the fountain's really cool. There is if the fountain comes alive, and it'll squirt water at guests and talk to guests and that kind of thing. And behind the fountain, that is where the old Sinbad stunt show used to be. Gotta assume some point when Universal wants to add again to Islands of Adventure that it very well might be the Lost Continent parts of it that are going away. I mean, if they wanted to expand the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, it's right next door. Speaking of the Wizarding World, on my right is the train station. This is where you would board their Hogwarts Express to go over to the other park. You do need a park-to-park ticket to ride this, but as a guy that lives right around the corner, I love the Hogwarts Express. I love that I could go from one park to the other via a fun ride. As we move on, we are entering Hogsmeade Village, the most popular part of Islands of Adventure, as that is, of course, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And it is pretty much always crowded in here. It's wonderfully themed. It's amazing. I mean, look at that. But it is also very crowded. We've got the Hogwarts Express train photo op over here on the right. On the left over here is going to be the Honeydukes, which is the candy store here at the Wizarding World. Lots of fun different candies and things like that. Now, one of the marquee rides here at Islands of Adventure is, well, right now it's going to be closed for weather, but you would enter through those gates there, and that is the Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. It is a family-friendly roller coaster with all sorts of special effects and launches, and it is, it's amazing. It's great. It's a wonderful, wonderful ride. This card here sells the famous butterbeer, and it always has a long line. Always has a long line. In that building there's the Three Broomsticks restaurant. I would say if you're not going to eat at Mythos or maybe the Confisco Grill, that would be your 3rd best bet for food in this park. Now, if you're like me and you enjoy the occasional adult beverage, go into that door there. That is the Hogshead, which is the Harry Potter bar. My personal favorite, do a double shot of the fire whiskey on the rocks. That is my go-to drink here in the Wizarding World. The Owl's Post is another Harry Potter store. And then this sign here is the entrance to the Ollivander's Wand Show experience, where the wand chooses the wizard. And if you are a large Harry Potter fan, this would be pretty cool for you. I will say if you're thinking about going to both parks, the line is normally shorter at the other park, the Universal Studios Park, because they have more theaters. This over here at Islands of Adventure, they have 1. I think they have 3 or so over at Universal Studios. So the lines would be a lot fuller over there due to the higher capacity. Now, I do always love the reveal once you come this way. You make the turn out of Hogsmeade Village. That reveal of Hogwarts Castle is really, really fantastic. Also, it's really crowded, as you can tell. Now, inside the castle is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, one of the best dark rides, in my opinion, in the entire world. You ride at the end of a robotic arm, and it's sort of like Harry Potter's greatest hits. But it combines screens with animatronics and sets and scenery, and it's really well done. This stage here features some Harry Potter themed shows. And that ride there, that's a family-friendly roller coaster named Flight of the Hippogriff. Pretty standard stuff, that roller coaster. Not a ton of Harry Potterness to do there. So if you needed to skip one ride here at Islands of Adventure, if you're a Harry Potter fan, skip the Flight of the Hippogriff, as that would be the least interesting. But as you can see, we are about to go over another bridge. Also from this bridge, you do get one of the best views of the Hogwarts Castle. They do have some really good projection shows that they run on the Hogwarts Castle. And they're seasonal shows, so like the show at Christmas time is different than the show in the summer, which is different than the show at Halloween. So if you come back different times of year, that projection show is going to be different. But as we go over the bridge, we do move on. And from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, we move on to Jurassic Park. As you can tell from the classic music's going to be playing in the background. And you walk through the gates from the first film. And look at that, both of the fire effects are working today. Now, Jurassic Park is home to the newest ride here at Islands of Adventure. New for 2021 was, of course, the Jurassic World velocicoaster. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. One thing I will warn you about, if you are coming to the park, lines for food or snacks, they tend to be pretty long, as you can see over here. That is a long line for turkey legs and popcorn. I'd rather go to the beer cart. Ooh, they have a Pseudo-Sue IPA in the can. That is good stuff. I might have to pick one of those up. Also over here is the Watering Hole, which is a full-service bar. And one of the couple places in the park you can get the Jurassic Park Island New Bar IPA, which is a fruity IPA. It is really, really good. I'm an IPA guy, I'm a fruity beer guy, so you can combine those two. I really like it. Now this sign over here leads us down towards Velocicoaster. Obviously there is some inclement weather in the area. I'm recording this in July in Orlando, so it's no surprise that, well, there's thunderstorms somewhere in the area. Now, a couple things, if you are coming to the park, like visiting right now, during what we call like the rainy season, I would definitely recommend riding those outdoor rides in the morning, because it doesn't really rain in the morning. Normally you get that rain from somewhere around 3 to somewhere around 7. And we are now coming into the plaza here for the Jurassic World velocicoaster. See the two raptor statues here. They're actually done up in tribute to the old Dueling Dragons roller coaster, whose dragons were in a similar pose. Now the ride's not running, but I'll talk all about it. This is an Intamin multi-launch roller coaster. It is a high-thrill, high-speed roller coaster. You go about 70 miles an hour. You'll go upside down a bunch of times, and it's really, really good. I've been on almost 700 different roller coasters, and for me, the Jurassic World velocicoaster is a top 10 ride. It is that good. Now, don't look for like a Disney level theming or something like that on this ride. This is a roller coaster. You've got some fun scenery in the first half and almost none in the second half. You do have some kind of a neat queue. But man, as far as roller coasters go, it is a good one. It's a very, very good one. I'm so thrilled that this ride is in my backyard. I live right here in the Orlando area. Now, obviously down for weather as we speak, but that ride's awesome. Definitely make it a must hit if you're a roller coaster fan coming to the Orlando area. Now, I'm trying to get back to the main park, and to do that, I'm not going to walk past that outdoor area again. I'm actually going to take a shortcut here through the Discovery Center and the Velocicoaster store. And now I'm going to try and do the difficult thing of walk upstairs while holding the video camera and trying to talk. Now I'm running into everyone, trying not to trip and fall. See if I can do this. There is dinosaurs and stuff in here as well. On the top level, there is a quick service food restaurant called the Burger Digs. Another place you can get that Jurassic World Island New Bar IPA. And there is a gift shop as well. And dinosaurs. And there we go, there's the gift shop. Actually, those lines for food are really not bad compared to what these lines are normally like. And here we go. We're gonna be back outside, back in the park area. And if you're curious where we went to get the cutoff is right over there. And we're moving on. That's some outdoor seating there for the Burger Digs. Some people are very excited because they just won the Midway Games. They've got a couple of them here in the Jurassic Park section. Whether it be, you know, a bazooka thing, balloon bust. My personal favorite of them, mostly for the silhouette of the dunking T-Rex, is Hammond's Hot Shots. And they've got one where you kind of squirt water and race your friends. Keep making our way through the Jurassic Park area. Now it's kind of interesting, the Jurassic Park area obviously themed around the films from the 90s. But the new ride, well, that's themed around the films from, well, right now. Which really is not that big of a deal, you know, it's all dinosaurs. Up ahead of us is Pizza Predatoria, which is a quick service outdoor pizza restaurant. My favorite part being that sign where the dinosaurs continually fight over a slice of pepperoni pizza till the end of time. This one tends to have pretty long lines as well. Got a gift shop over here where they're just selling sodas. One thing, if you just need a soda or something like that, go in one of those gift shops. Do not wait in that big giant line, because a lot of times the gift shops don't have a line, where the quick service food or beverage items do have a line. Character meet and greets here at Universal, not quite as big of things as they are at Disney or some other parks, but the best one is in here. That is the Raptor Encounter, where you get to have your picture taken with a really cool raptor puppet, like a blue from the new Jurassic World movies. There's some viewing area over there for the Jurassic World velocicoaster. And if you're not riding the velocicoaster and you want to get some pictures of your family or your friends, this area over here would be a great place to do that. As the first half of the ride, which is this part here, where you wind in and out of all the rock work, that's going to be a lot slower than the second half of the ride when you're going 70 miles an hour. Entrance over here on the right is for the Jurassic Park River Adventure. One of the 3 water rides here at Islands of Adventure, and my personal favorite, as this one does not get you soaked to the bone. This one, especially, yeah, you get up to the ride, you have to sit in the back seat. A lot of times you just get kind of a spritz. You won't get a big giant splash. There's lots of cool dinosaur animatronics on that ride as well. One thing about the river adventure, during different times of year, they can add to the levels of wetness. So if you're riding in February, you'll probably be set to not be as wet as if you were riding in the middle of July. So keep note of that. Entrance over there to the left is for Camp Jurassic, which is a really, really cool playground. This thing is so neat. There are slides and water guns and caves. There's a little kid's roller coaster there called Pteranodon Flyers that you do need a child to ride. And I feel like that's one of the most overlooked sections of Islands of Adventure. If you come to the park, especially if things have a line, you don't need to have a kid. Just go in there because it's so neat. It's so well themed. It is really, really well done. So definitely go check out the Camp Jurassic area. I do enjoy how they keep the Jurassic Park area. It does have that jungle feel with lots of giant trees and things like that. Over here at Bone Chill Beverages, that's going to be another place you can get that Jurassic World specialty beer. A wonderful photo op there with the Tyrannosaurus from the film and the Jeep from the first film. Now, if there wasn't a weather delay, I would show you the boats splashing down, because this is the big splashdown finale of the Jurassic Park River Adventure ride. And it's a fun ride. Now we are almost out of Jurassic Park as we are making our way past Thunder Falls Terrace. This is going to be kind of the park's main barbecue restaurant. It also has indoor seating, which is good, especially in the Orlando heat or the Orlando rain. You know, you don't want to eat outside that much, especially in the summer. Now we take a kind of a turn to what's an interesting section of the park. I believe we are still technically in Jurassic Park, but it's kind of like a mini island as we're coming up on this large building here on my right. That is the Skull Island Reign of Kong, which is this giant Jeep attraction which takes you past not the most recent King Kong movie, but it's based off the Peter Britt Jackson, Jack Black King Kong movie. And it's a pretty solid ride. In my opinion, this has the best animatronic in the entire resort. They've got this amazing King Kong animatronic in there. They also have some other really good effects, and they have some effects I think are not as good. But it's definitely, there's not a ton of rides at Islands of Adventure, so I would say definitely one you want to hit. Also, this tends not to have the greatest capacity, so I'd also consider hitting this one early. As we walk past now, it is 90-minute wait, and that is a long, long time. Now, one cool thing about the way they designed the Skull Island Reign of Kong, when there's lightning in the area like there is now, normally the Jeeps would go through this big outdoor thing and go in the building and stuff like that. When it's raining, they just bypass that. So unlike a Velocicoaster or an Incredible Hulk or a Hagrid's, when there's raining and bad weather, you don't have to close down the Skull Island ride. You get a King Kong themed gift shop here where you can get that King Kong themed hot dog, which is this monstrous hot dog, which is never really looked that appealing to me. Moving along, we are now into Toon Lagoon, which is an area of the park themed around comic strips. And you know, not the most up-to-date area for kids nowadays. Like for me, I'm well familiar with Dudley Do-Right and Popeye and a lot of the characters here, but the kids nowadays, I probably can't say the same. But I really don't think it matters if they're familiar with the characters or not, because the rides here are pretty good. Now I will say both these water rides here in Toon Lagoon, they get you absolutely drenched. This is not a little spritz, this is a heads to toe. There's no difference between riding it and jumping in the pool kind of thing. This is Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls, which is the park's log flume style attraction. Really good, you got a lot of limited animatronic scenes, some really fun drops. The drop at the ending here is really, really good. One minor complaint, it does have some weird restraints that are definitely not the most comfortable while you're on the log flume. And definitely poncho up on this one. Or put your phone in a plastic bag, just be prepared that it's gonna get you. I do think it's probably still one of the better log flumes. Like if I had to make a list of the top 10 log flumes I've ever been on, it is definitely on that list. Got a character shoot booth over here on the left. I do love the name of this one here. This is Ale to the Chief, or Slurp and Snack, or you can pick up some canned beer, as well as churros and that kind of thing. Now, if you got kids that are big fans of the Secret Life of Pets film franchise, go into the What's a Motto used shop, because they sell tons of Secret Life Pets stuff in there. They also sell some stuff from Trolls. Got a gift shop over here on the left. Now I'm going to walk just briefly over on this side of the park to my left as I'm heading over towards the Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat barges, which is the park's big river rapids ride. And it is a really, really, really good river rapids ride. In fact, out of the ones I've been on, it is my favorite, and I've been on them kind of all over the world now. So Popeye and Bluto also tends to not have as long of a line as some of the other rides, but again, you get really wet. Really, really, really wet. If you're not familiar with one of these, you ride one of these big giant boats with 12 people. You go past waterfalls and rapids, and you might get soaked. You'll probably get soaked. There's a very high chance that you get soaked. In this section of the park, there is the Wimpy's Burger outdoor dining establishment and Me Ship the Olive, which is another playground. But yeah, if you don't mind getting soaked, they have a really good 1-2 punch of water rides, and they even 1-2-3 punch of water rides between Jurassic Park and these two. Heading now down the comic strip alley section, you have Blondie's, which is home of the Dagwood, that giant hilarious looking sandwich. You have another section of the park with lots of Easter eggs. Like if you're familiar with these old-timey comic books and or old-timey comic strips, then you would absolutely get a kick out of this. Like when I was little, I had a Crazy Cat VHS that I would watch all the time. So I love seeing Crazy Cat in the park. You got this wonderful fountain here with all sorts of different types of dogs. Kathy is the host of the ice cream stand. You got an Aesop and Son photo op over there, which you can get to on the way to the Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. Comic Strip Cafe is the main dining establishment in this area of the park. Again, just your very much your theme parky type stuff, but pizza and hamburgers. I think they have like some Chinese food in there as well. Over here on the left is the main gift shop for the land. So if you like any of these characters, they also sell a lot of SpongeBob stuff. It'll be in that shop. This area over here on my right, this is one of the prime areas for redevelopment here at Islands of Adventure. That is the Toon Lagoon Amphitheater. It has not been used regularly for shows in the longest time. It takes up a ton of space in a park that doesn't have a ton of room for expansion, so I have to assume at some point that'll go away. I mean, I can't imagine the Toon Lagoon will be here all that much longer, as those characters are also not the most relevant, and I enjoy them, don't get me wrong, but You know, Lost Continent, Toon Lagoon. If both those are still here in 15 years, I think I'll be pretty surprised. As we pass some generic Midway games. Right before we move on to the final island at Universal's Islands of Adventure. And if we talk about characters that are out of date or characters that really don't have much appeal, that is definitely not the case over here. As the final area is Marvel Superhero Island, which of course the biggest movies in the world for the past, I don't know, 15 years have been the Marvel movies. Now the versions here on Marvel Superhero Island, they will be based off the comic books and not the current version that you see in the MCU, but it's still going to be all your friends. Entrance gates there to the Daily Bugle. And it does feel very much like you are walking into a comic book with all these giant cutouts and things like that. Again, another land with tons of detail, and if you're big into, you know, the Marvel comic books, you're gonna know every character and know, oh, I know what this means and I know what that means, and this is a nod to this. You do have a couple of these around Universal for some reason, these vacation information booths. Don't talk to them. Those are people trying to sell you a timeshare. They'll come up and talk to you like, hey, do you want free show tickets or you want this? And ignore them, just say no, or I don't have any money, or I live here, and they'll kind of like leave you alone. This stop is one of my favorites in the entire park. That is the comic book store. They sell really, really cool Marvel memorabilia in there, like nice stuff, statues, all sorts of cool stuff. You also have the boutique that specializes in ladies' clothes and purses and stuff like that. So if you have a female coming with you that's a big fan of the Marvel, Annie Ann's Pretzels is wonderful. Now you get some of the rides here in Marvel Superheroes Island. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is one of the best dark rides in the entire world. It mixes 3D screens with live sets, and it takes you on the Spider-Man ride that you want. You go see all of Spider-Man's villains, he fights them. It's really, really, really good. And it does have a single rider line. A lot of the rides here at Islands of Adventure do. So you'll find single rider lines on the Incredible Hulk, Hagrid, Velocicoaster, Spider-Man. Sometimes you'll find them on Dr. Doom as well. So you go past Wolverine here. Going down this alley, that is where you get to Dr. Doom's Fearfall, which is a SNS shot tower. You get two of them, you get shot up in the air, you get some really good airtime, and wonderful views of the Universal Orlando Resort. Also, Dr. Doom tends to not have the longest lines in the park, so that is a plus as well. Now, one of the iconic things that's been here since opening is this big green roller coaster known as the Incredible Hulk. This is a launch roller coaster by B&M. Pretty good. It gets a little rough nowadays. They went through and they took the whole thing down back in 2016 and rebuilt it, but didn't really smooth it out all that much. They did add an onboard audio, which is working pretty good nowadays. Cafe 4 is another pizza type restaurant. Again, like I said, you know, when you see the food options here, you'll definitely want to do Potter, Confisco, or my personal favorite, Mythos. The entrance to the Incredible Hulk is going to be over there. Down that way as well is where you get Storm Force Acceleratron, which is the park's teacup ride. I'm not going to walk all the way over there, but if you want to spin around in a teacup theme to the X-Men character Storm, well, that is where you do that. And we go over the final bridge, which will take us back to Port of Entry and back to the beginning. So we've now seen the whole park. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that if you're planning a trip here to Islands of Adventure, that this helped you out. You got a lay of the land, you know where all the rides are, you know a little bit about them. If you got any questions or comments about Islands of Adventure, let me know in the comment section below. Pretty much I'm here every month doing some sort of updates showing the latest and greatest, all the changes at the parks. For the month of July, well, there wasn't a whole lot of changes, so I felt like doing a video like this would help out. Oh, look, there's a dog. Figured this would be a little bit more beneficial. Switch things up a little bit. So if you have any questions or comments about Universal Orlando or Islands of Adventure, just let me know in the comment section below. Do my best to get back to you. Let me know my thoughts. And thank you very much for watching this video. If you guys didn't watch videos like this, I couldn't have that annual pass that makes me come to this park whenever I wanted to. So thank you very much, and thanks for watching.